Okay, so welcome again to the FlexJobs Client Services webinar on how best to use your account. Again, my name is Jess Larson. I'm the Director of Client Services with FlexJobs.com. And I just want to touch a couple of housekeeping points really quickly, and then we'll dive into more of the presentation. You can ask your questions through the question box on the GoToWebinar control panel. You may need to hit the orange arrow to expand the control panel so that you can see the questions area. Again, we will answer those at the end, so please don't feel that you're being ignored if you have a question immediately and we're not able to answer it right at that moment. We will definitely have time at the end for those. So again, we're going to have about 40 to 45 minutes of presentation with time for questions. And it'll be myself as well as Karen Murphy, who is in Client Services. She has been with FlexJobs almost 5 years now, so she knows a lot about the site and a lot about helping job seekers. So we're very fortunate to have her here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to talk some about searching the site, which is one of the bigger things that is obviously going to be very, very important for utilization. So here you should be able to, let me show my screen. And Karen, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, the live site.
Perfect. Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. So I'm currently logged into my account, and this page will look very familiar to you if you are a current member of the site. So we'll go over just some quick kind of navigation tools that can be helpful here. So whenever you first log on to your account, the first thing you're going to see is the dashboard. It's going to have this sub-navigation area as well as more information as you scroll down here. So Karen will be touching on resume profiles, so we'll be down in that area as well. But most of the things that you're going to need to utilize as a FlexJobs member will be located up in this sub-navigation bar or within the dashboard itself. So the first thing that we recommend to search jobs is to actually use the keyword job search, which is right across the top of the site here, or you can also use this area as well to search for jobs. So keywords can be anything as far as a job title, a skill, it can be a location, it can be a company, so you can kind of choose what you want to be your keyword. And I'll show you why you've got some flexibility there. So, and then you can put in your city, state, or zip code. And we recommend doing this. A lot of people get very confused about why you would ever need a location. And the truth of the matter is that telecommuting does not automatically mean everything is available from everywhere. And so what it does when you put in a location is it's going to give you positions like this one with the U.S. national flag, which means it can be done by anyone, anywhere in the United States, as well as positions like this, which are local to Denver itself. And you can use these different job icons, these little pointers and flags, as an indication of where things are currently available. And you can also use this eye right here. This is the icon guide, and that'll show you if you have any questions or you're unsure of what a symbol means. You can definitely open that up to take a look, as well as anytime there are symbols, we have mouse over information where you would be able to see what that specific symbol may mean. So for instance, this one that I'm mousing over right now is for the FlexJobs 250, which means that this company has some of the most flexible job listings that we see on the site consistently. So, and there's a lot of different symbols, and all of them will have that information. So if you're confused or concerned about something, you can definitely utilize that. So one of the great things about when you run a keyword search is that you have the ability, once you have put in the word lawyer, to narrow your results over here. And so you can go ahead and say, if you are only wanting to look for full-time positions, you can click full-time, and it will shrink down the number of jobs that you are looking at that only are full-time positions. And if you decide that that's too restricting, you can always take that checkbox off and open it back up to the original job listings that you had. And so things like telecommuting level, which is something a lot of people are very concerned with. If they're wanting to just work from home, you can go ahead and push in, 100% telecommuting. And if you're interested in specific accolades, or if you're at a career level, or if there's a company that you're specifically interested in, or travel restrictions that you would like to have, considered within your search, you can do all of that within this narrow your job results on the right-hand side here. Another great thing to know on the keyword search that can be really, really helpful is that this defaults to relevance on your keyword. So if you'll see, I put in the word lawyer, but it also understands that a lawyer can also be an attorney. And so because these are synonyms, they will pull up. So you don't have to worry about, well, I searched for lawyer and now I need to search for attorney to make sure that I'm getting full utilization of that keyword. And so that can be really helpful in jobs like that. It can also be really helpful if you're looking for things like, say, writing, which is a pretty common telecommuting position a lot of people look for. So again, the nice thing with writing is that this will pull up jobs that say writer as well as writing. So you're not having to guess what word might be utilized by an employer to find those types of positions. So that's really helpful. If you're more concerned with getting date results, you can click this toggle and it will pull up whatever the most recent position is as opposed to the most relevant. So if you find a job search that ends up being exactly what you want with all of your specifications and you want to run it every time you come on to your FlexJobs account, you can use the Save This Search area right here. You can name your search and save it. And then it'll give you the green button letting you know that that job search has been saved. And to see that job search in the future, you would just click your sub-navigation where the job search activity is and go to Saved Searches, and it's right here. You would be able to run that. You can also reorganize these in different areas if there are different or more important searches that you would want to come before others. And another thing that you can also do is delete the searches. So if you run a search and find that it's not very helpful, then you can go ahead and remove it from your saved searches area. So back to the keyword search. There's another important thing that can be really, really helpful when using this. So you can further your searches using different symbols within your keyword field text. And so these are some really important things. So if you are looking for a manager or a director position, if you put the symbol plus between the two, it will give you results for both manager and director. If you are looking for something where you want to be either a manager or director, if you put that type symbol, it will give you either or. One of them that we see a lot of people utilize that can be really helpful. So if you use a dash, for example, they've got manager/director, it will pull up positions that are for the manager but not the director. So for example, if I put writer and then I put but not blog, I want a position where I wouldn't be writing blogs, and I search, it will now take out any position that has blog within it, so that if there's something within my field that I know I'm not interested in doing, I can go ahead and get those results removed from my search itself. So that these symbols are really, really helpful, and you can always utilize this just by picking, clicking right here. Quotes are wonderful for if you're looking for something specific. So if you were looking for example, we'll say, trying to think of a company with, well, okay, so let's say you want to look for a FlexJobs, but you want to see just that term. So you would put it in specifically, and you'll get only things that have the term FlexJobs, which include like our jobs itself. So, so yeah, that's a really, really great way to make sure that you are getting the exact types of positions that you're looking for Or if you have looked for a job and you can't remember but you know what company it was, you can always use that keyword search. So it works well as far as covering different categories, different job titles, and different skills. And you can also use it if you wanted to for locations by themselves as well. So you can do that where, you know, anything that has the word Denver would come up. And this would be local only searches. This would remove any U.S. national positions because it would just be pulling positions that would be in Denver specifically. So you've got a lot of flexibility, which is a really great thing. Another option that you have to utilize if you want to get a little bit more in-depth is the advanced job search, which is located here. And it has many of the fields that you would see in the sidebar of the keyword search, but it's laid out so that you can see, you can put everything in together. The one thing that we do like to warn people is if you fill out every single category on the advanced job search, oftentimes people will self-select themselves out of finding jobs that may be a good fit. So instead of putting in, let's see here, I'm going to pick something very obscure. And we'll say New York. We'll say New York, New Mexico, because I'm doing this to intentionally not pull something. But we want a volunteer job. It's occasional. I was also in accounting and finance with some telecommuting as a senior level manager, maybe travel. It's also in Business Week. So I just put in like probably the worst search I've ever seen, honestly. And if we click search from jobs, lo and behold, there is nothing there, which I'm not surprised to see because we have now put in so much criteria that unless that exact position is on the site, it's not going to pull up for you. So my kind of rule of thumb for utilizing the advanced search is to use the job categories because they're a wider selection. Each job is filed into at least 5 job categories. So you can put in, you know, a couple different job categories. You can put in, I think it's up to 13 there. You would definitely want to put your location, again, because that is going to give you positions that are both available locally as well as nationally. So you won't run into positions where it might be the greatest job you've ever seen, but their taxes do not allow them to hire outside of the area that they're in, and it happens to not be the area that you're in. And then the third category that is really important for a lot of people is going to be the telecommuting level. So if you're open to any level of telecommuting, you can click that. If you are looking specifically only to work from home, you can click 100% telecommuting. And you also have the option for mostly telecommuting, which is a position where you would go into the office sometimes, but you would mostly be at home. Some telecommuting is kind of the opposite of that, where you would be mainly in the office and then have the option to work from home part of the time. And then there's also option for telecommuting, which can be a position where they may allow you to telecommute in the future, or that you may have some sort of a flexible work plan there. So kind of understanding those different levels and making sure that you're searching for the right one can be very important. So then if we click search for jobs, whoops, oh, it's because I left. Let's get rid of that. Oh, okay, I'm going to actually just clear the search because I have there we go. Sorry about that. So this is going to give us any jobs in Denver that have either account management or client services as job categories selected that are 100% telecommuting. Again, once you've run this search, you can save it. You can also narrow it with the same sidebar options over here. And you can see what different areas are already selected. And you can go in and unselect them and, you know, adjust those. So if you discover that you have picked a category that really doesn't fit what you thought it was going to, you can always uncheck those as well and select different job categories or put in a keyword if you would like to as well. So you've got quite a few different options. We definitely recommend starting with the keyword search just to get that really broad understanding of what's available in an area, but we have a lot of these tools to really filter things down and make them more concise for you as a job seeker. So 2 more areas that I'm going to show you really quickly that you can search. We also have this jobs area in the upper left-hand corner. And this will list all of the different types of job categories available. Where this really comes in handy is if you're not entirely certain, for example, what positions would be put under government or politics jobs. If you click it, each of these job categories will have a description right here, and it'll tell you the types of work that you would expect to see within that different job category. So this can be really great when you're getting ready to put together your resume profile, or if you're doing a search and not finding exactly what you want, or you're not sure how to, narrow down your science job. You can take a look at those descriptions, and you can also look at the positions themselves within this area. So that can be really helpful. And then you also have the option to find jobs by location. So if you just want to see everything that is available worldwide, you can click this link, and it will pull up anything that is listed with this global flag as being open to candidates anywhere in the world. You've got a couple different areas depending on what exactly you're wanting to look at specifically. So a couple more things that I'll point out, then I'm going to pass this over to Karen to talk more about the resume profile itself, is some little options that you have when you're looking at positions. So if you want to save a job so that you have it in your resume or on your dashboard for the future, if you see something but you don't have time maybe to completely look at it, or you're not ready to make an application, you can click Save Job, and it'll change that heart to blue. You can then find those under your job search activity, and you can click Save Jobs, and it will be right there for you to see. You can also add a note, so you could put something like need background information and save that, and then you can go back and look at what note you'd written for yourself. You can also use this to click that you've applied for the job, and you'll be able to see that in your application history as well. So a couple different options for you to utilize from that jobs table and from those searches. So really great ways to make sure that you are running a quick job search and that you're really focusing in on what you want to apply for, and that you're not spending so much time kind of weeding through things that wouldn't necessarily be a good fit for you. So it can be really, really helpful to do that. And one last thing, I know we get a lot of questions about this too, the difference between the blue title and the orange title. These are FlexJobs featured employers that come directly to us and ask to post their sites or to post their jobs. They're screened in exactly the same way and with the exact same diligence as the external jobs that are in blue. They're just companies that we've had a running relationship with and that may also accept resume profiles through our site and can search resumes through our site. So if you're ever kind of looking at that and wondering what that indicator means, that is what we are communicating there. So I am going to go ahead and pass this over to Karen. If you have questions about searching, or if there's anything I didn't touch on that you would like to know more information about, please feel free to put it into the questions box, and we will definitely answer it at the end of the presentation.
All right, thank you, Jess, for those great tips, and I just want to welcome everyone. Like Jess said, my name is Karen, so we'll be going through some resume profile information today. There's a couple reasons for your resume profile. The first thing that it's going to do when you set up your resume profile, it's going to help automate your job search. So our system looks at specific information that you enter into your profile, and it will try to find jobs that it thinks might be a good match for you, and you will receive your new jobs of interest that you'll see on Jess's screen right there just below your message inbox. So it'll help set up an automated search. And the second reason is, as Jess had just mentioned, some employers on our site do have you apply through our site with your resume profile. That's our featured employers have that option. So to get into the resume profile, there's 3 different ways. So Jess, if you scroll up to the top of the page, you can see there's a resume profile, your resume profile box in the sub-navigation bar. You can click there and select any of those. You can also go to the right upper corner where you will see your name. If you click on your name, you could click on Resume Profiles. When you do that, it takes you to the bottom when you click on that. So you can click on your name and go down, or you can just scroll down this My Dashboard page to see any resume profiles that you currently have set up. So if you didn't have any resume profile, you would just see the Create New Profile box there in the lower left, but Jess has 2 current profiles. So for those of you who just need to go in and edit your profile, there's links just to the lower right of each profile. You can select Edit, you can view, you can download your PDF, or you can delete from there. But we are going to start with a new profile. So we'll go to the blue box and select Create New Profile. It's going to ask to confirm that you want to start a new profile. You can select Yes. You do need to have a title for your profile. And in each box, as you're working through your profile, you're going to see a tips box. So at any time, if you want some tips, just click on that tip box. The editor will open so you can view those. And you can just click on the tips again to close it. So with our new profile editor, you can create a completely new profile. If you have a profile that you already have created, you can actually copy it as well. So you have that choice. When you click in the Create New Profile, it'll give you that option. We'll create a new one. And the first thing we need to do is create a title here. So you want your title to stand out. The skills that you're presenting. You don't want to put any personal information within your profile title. Just, to title that profile so you know the type of job you're going to be looking for, like Jess wrote, you can identify. And then once you have your profile title in, you'll select Create Profile, and that will take us into the actual editor. All right, so the first thing that I want to point out here is this blue box in the upper left, just below the active toggle. This is going to tell you the fields that are required in order to activate your profile. So anything with a red asterisk next to it is required, and there's, it has a list of what you need to look at. So once you've reviewed that, you can click Ready, Set, Go. Just to the left of the active button in the upper right, you'll also see anytime you update your profile, you're going to see the last updated date. And directly across from there, you'll see where you can, within your profile, you can create a new one, view, create a PDF, or delete. So we will start here on the upper left-hand side, My Job Search Basics. Now this is the information that our system is going to search on for your new jobs of interest. So the first thing we'll do is click Edit. And you start off with your job categories. That's the categories that you're going to be entering onto your profile that you want our system to search for you. So you want to enter categories in which you're interested in, qualified for, and industries which you've worked in before. And as we see there at the top, you can pick 5 job categories per resume profile. And then the next box, we go to the job type. You want to select anything that you'd be interested in. You'll just click. If you don't want any freelance positions, definitely uncheck it. I mean, you want to have in here only the types of jobs that you're interested in receiving. And when it's blue, it's selected to receive those types of jobs. And then your career level. You want to be honest in your assessment here when you're entering your career level. And keep in mind, as you are entering these in, you can always update these career levels at any time. So if you are highly experienced and you select maybe a senior level manager position, but our system isn't really finding a lot for you, so you're not getting a lot of new jobs of interest, you can always go back to your profile and maybe update it to manager, because there could be jobs in the manager that are listed as manager that would be applicable to you. So you can kind of play around with those career levels. And then we'll go to your education level. And that's pretty self-explanatory. Now the desired salary and pay, this is an optional field. You can enter that if you want to. By no means do you have to. Some things to consider when you're entering in your desired salary. You don't want to overprice yourself so employers wouldn't look at you. You don't want to undercut yourself so you're not getting what you should. So just really think about that when you're putting it in there. Again, it's not a required field, so that is not something that you have to put in. And then you can select any other compensation or benefits that you might want as you're searching for your positions. Now, it's very important after you've finished every area that you click the save. Yes, snacks are mandatory. Let's see here. Yeah, so you'll click save. If you went through all that and you clicked cancel, it would remove all the information and you would have to go back in and enter it again. All right, next we'll move down to schedule and flexibility. And we'll edit that. And again, here you're just choosing specifically what you're looking for, and these can be just like the job categories and things like that. These can always be updated at any time. So if you're not seeing the jobs, our system isn't assigning the jobs that you're interested in, you can always play around with these. And again, this will show your telecommuting level as well, what you're interested in, and if you're willing to travel. Many people have specific ideas on if they're wanting to travel or not, so that's another area where you can fill that out. And then your home office. Oh, availability, sorry, I skipped right over that one. This is going to give employers an idea of how soon you're ready to get started, what you're thinking, and they can kind of view that pretty self-explanatory here. And save. Your home office. Many employers like to see what you have. You can mark any. You can also add additional office equipment in the box below, such as a fax scanner, paper shredder, or whatever you think is relevant. And we also have a military status box. So you can enter your military status if that is applicable. Now, when our system is running the search, I think it's important to go over this. Our system for your new jobs of interest is not going to run the job search based on a resume. If you upload your resume, it's going to search on in the job, just if you'd scroll up, it's going to search on these My Job Search Basics, mainly your job categories, your career level, and your location. So that's what our system is searching to send you that information, just so you're aware of that. And then we'll get over here into the body of the profile. We have your picture. Again, a picture is completely optional. If you don't feel comfortable adding a picture, don't do it. It's not going to, a resume without a picture is just as fine as one with one. When you are selecting a picture, you definitely want to make sure it's a professional picture, friendly picture to you. And it can be a face to the company that you're hiring. They're putting a face to the resume. So you'll just click on the edit when you want to add a picture, and it'll actually allow you to browse through your system and select a file. And then you always want to save. In addition, if you wanted to remove a picture, you would edit, and then you would just select the delete button. And again, in these areas, there's tips. When you click on a box, there's tips. Yep, the tips are up there in the upper left by the picture. So feel free, lots of great tips in that area. And then we also have your contact information over here in the upper right. Some of these areas are required. Once you click the edit, you'll see the required areas. Most people fill out most of this. You have an area for your LinkedIn profile, your website if you have one, your location, and then you just want to make sure you click save. And then we move on to the summary. This is where it's an opportunity for you to tell employers exactly what you think they should know about you and why you're a great candidate. So it can be 2 to 3 sentences. like it says up there, describing your personal self and why you are a great candidate. And then we'll go ahead and save that. And you'll see the little summary up there that employers can view. If you, and again, you can go in there and change that at any time. Yep, we're going to emphasize that. So moving on to, there's two options for your resume profile. You can create, if you don't currently have a resume, we have some areas here where you can put in your work experience and your education and your skills to actually create a resume that you can save on your system. If you have a current resume document, you can just upload that from your computer. So you'll see on the right where it says add. Again, you will be browsing your computer and attaching your file, your resume file. We recommend a .doc or a PDF just because those are universal, and it will allow employers who receive your resume profile to open those documents. So you just want to make sure it's a readable file for employers. And you can also name, Jess, if you go back to edit, you can pick a specific name. Oh, you did that already, sorry. And you can always update that. So that'll help you keep track of the specific resume if you'd like to do that on there. And again, if you ever want to delete, you'll just go in and select edit because maybe you update your file and you want to put your new one on. So you'll just delete and then go through the process and re-upload. Perfect. All right, so now we'll move into, now if you've entered your resume, you've uploaded it, you don't necessarily have to go through the next few boxes because that's going to be in your resume. You certainly can fill it out again if you choose to do that, but it's really not necessary when your resume is uploaded. But for our members who don't have a current resume, this will be a nice little format where you can put in your work experience and actually create a PDF. So you can save the PDF to your computer and then use it to apply for jobs just like you would, you know, a regular resume. And you're just going to fill out all of the information. If we could put a couple in, Jess, I'm going to show everyone how you can sort. You can actually, once you get the information in there, you can actually sort. And we really recommend the last 15 to 20 years work experience. Some of our members have less, some of our members have much more, but we really recommend, again, pretty much the last 15 to 20 years if you have that, and it's best to only include the work experience that is relative to the type of work you're interested in doing or highlighting your transferable skills. All right, so we have a couple entries in here. You'll see the two little triangles, so you can drag to sort the jobs if you need to put them in a different order. Just a handy little tip there if you entered in one before another. And then we'll move on to the education. For when you're using this section to build a resume, the dates of your education is a required field for this. We've found that employers do like to see the dates that you were in school. Some members choose to not show that, which is absolutely fine. The way around that would be to upload your own resume. And then you can have the exact format in there that you wish to have, but when you are using the editor to create a resume, that will be a required field, the education dates. And then we move on to skills. Now you just want to include your relevant marketable skills. You'll just type in the skills that you have, and then you're going to select your level. You can enter computer skills, JavaScript, Ruby on Rails, business skills such as training, public speaking, skills specific to your industry, or even soft skills like communications, multitasking, problem solving. So the more skills you have and you can add on there, is great. And then as always, we want to make sure that we save our options. You also can add specific languages and your fluency in those languages, just like the skills. Certificates and memberships are next, and you can add those. Those can be specific to your business or your profession, or general, like Excel. And then awards and honors, if you have anything in your current industry that you've been recognized for, absolutely add that in there. We like snacks. And the next area is skills testing. These are free with your membership. You can take as many skills tests as you would like. They're designed to highlight your current skills. So there's no training or anything before them, but if you know you're proficient in one of the areas, you can absolutely take the tests. You will see in this area all of your scores. Anything, employers will only be able to see, actually I take that back, anything in your resume profile is going to be a score of 70% or above. Once we're out of the profile, I will direct you to where you can view all of your skills tests, but the employers will only see 70% or above. You can select any skills test. Again, it's going to come up here, and they'll highlight your current skills. So that's a nice thing to have yourself stand out for your specific skills. In addition, our featured employers, they can actually, when they put up a job posting, they can recommend skills tests that they would like to see with your application. So sometimes you will see employers asking for those skills tests as well. And then finally, at the bottom, we have work samples that you can add. You want to choose ones that you feel strongly show your professional qualifications and that helps sell you as a candidate. We recommend not to upload more than 5 because it's just an area to give an employer an idea of what you do, not to be your complete online portfolio. And again, if you have a website or something, you can also enter that link we saw, so that might be a vehicle for that. But again, we recommend work samples, keeping that down to 5 or less. All right, Jess, now if we go to the top, this is, so we filled out everything, all the red asterisks, we can now activate our profile. So when we click on active, it'll say, congratulations, your resume profile is now searchable by employers on FlexJobs. Now, it's completely up to you if you want to make your profile active. Some people like to have their information active and searchable at all times. Other members like to keep it inactive until they're ready to apply for a position. So that is absolutely up to you. If you run across an employer who wants you to apply for a job through our site and you know you've completed your profile, but you get a message saying, I don't see a profile, or it's telling you that you don't see a profile, chances are you're going to need to come back to your resume profile and just activate it. You can activate it, submit your profile to the employer, and then you can make it inactive again. The employer will be able to see it because they've received a copy. So that's, again, that's up to you, kind of your privacy, if you want it to be active and searchable, or if you only want to release that to the employers that you're interested in. And if we go back to your My Dashboard pages from the sub-navigation bar, and if we scroll down to the bottom, we will now see the new profile. You see it, we see it was created today, it's active. And here is where you can view, you can also choose these options. You can view your profile to see what an employer will see when they receive your resume profile. This is the format it will come up in. Skills tests. Any attachments you have will be shown on the lower right. And those allow the employer to click directly on those to pull those up. And then for our members who are looking to, you put in your information, your education experience, you can download a PDF. Again, that's going to download a file directly to your system. If you're applying for a job on an employer website and you want to send them that PDF that you created with your information, you'll be able to attach that, just like a Word doc if you have it on your system. And that's everything it will show here. And again, if we scroll up the page a little bit, Jess, we'll also see new jobs of interest. And these would have, again, there was already some in there when we started, but new ones would populate. We see new ones from today. Some of those could be from the resume profile that we just created. And you can view the whole, you can go to the page and view each one. You can delete any ones you're not interested. With the red X, you can make a note, and you can also click the heart like Jess had showed you previously to save the jobs. And if we can go back up to the top navigation bar, just a couple more things. Final note on the resume profile, if we go, just to the My Dashboard page again, if we scroll down the page to the profiles, there is a great video if you ever want a refresher, a touch-up. We have a how-to video for the profile. So it walks through just a basic walkthrough of that resume profile. It's a great resource. You can select that at any time and watch that. And then for the skills tests, if we scroll back up to the top, from the sub-navigation, you can select skills tests. You can either take a test or you can look at your test results. So when you go to the test results, you will see any test in here, even the scores that are below 70%. So say you take a creative writing test and you score a 50. That will show in here, but again, no employer is going to see that. And you can keep it there for your records. On Jess's English speaking test, she scored an 80%, but if she thinks, hey, I know I can score higher, I don't want that in my profile, she can easily delete that from the right-hand side. So that will completely remove it from the system. And some people do that. They get a pretty good score, but they know they can do better. You can delete it. You have control of that from this page. And I think that's it for the profile, Jess. Is there anything that you would like to add on that, or should we move on to questions?
I think that was great. Thank you so much, Karen, for going through all of those details. Just a couple quick things that I want to show on the site, and then we'll get into questions because we do have quite a few that we can answer here. We also, on the sub-navigation bar, I think a lot of people don't notice this because they're so into their profile and searching for jobs. We have some really great special partner offers. And the reason that I bring this up is we have a lot of questions where people want us to do resume review or they want us to do career counseling, and that's unfortunately not something that FlexJobs offers in-house, but we do have relationships with companies that do offer that. And so you can go in as a member and get discounts through a large number of different companies that offer resume review or career coaching with various discounts offered to our subscribers specifically. And it also extends into, options for your home office or other different types of features that you may need as a telecommuter. So that's a very helpful thing to know about. And then additionally, as a subscriber, you can refer us and get free months offered onto your subscription. So if you have anyone that you know or you run across anyone who would be interested in having a subscription, or you hear of someone who is looking for something flexible, you can definitely use this using either email, Facebook, or Twitter. And when they sign up, you actually will get a free month from us as a thank you. So that's another thing that I like to point out for our members because I think that is something that is really, really important to utilize if you would like. So we'll go ahead and start hitting some questions here. And let's see here. Just a moment. Okay, so we had a question if we can help with portfolios or update the LinkedIn profile. And again, we can't, but we definitely have links to companies that can. And we had a question, what is the area that showed the descriptions? I can show that really quick. It's actually where it says jobs in the upper left-hand corner here. And so you would click, and then any of these job categories, if you select them, they'll always have that description at the beginning of the job category to describe the types of positions that would be listed within there, as well as like different job titles, project manager, things like that that you would want to see kind of featured within there. And let's see here. Here we have a question. If you save a job to your dashboard, does it ever expire and go away, or will you always be able to pull it up again? So on job search activity for saved jobs, so I have one from April 3rd here that is saved. And we can click that. And since it's still available, it's still there. To see if a job is expired, it'll actually say job expired or the date it was expired here. And so we do generally leave those within the saved jobs area so that people can follow through on what's happened with a job. We try to not remove things from people's accounts, so you should be able to see them. But if you have any questions about that, you can always give us an idea as well. So we have a question: who has access to this profile?
Sure. Our featured employers, when are the companies, and Jess kind of touched on them. They're the employers that have an approved account with us. They can actually post their jobs directly to our site and search our member profiles. So if you can actually look through the featured employer positions. Under related job search options, you'll see that blue bar on the right. If you scroll down, you may have to scroll down, but you can see where it says featured employer jobs on the right. Yep, there we go. If you click that. And then you'll also notice this little FJ star icon that's right under the company name. Those also indicate employers that would be able to search for you. And when employers are searching through our member profiles, they search by job category. So, maybe they're looking for a bookkeeper, so they will type in bookkeeping and run a search, and if your profile has that job category listed in it, it will come up in a list for that employer to take a look at and see. They're going to see your profile title, and they'll be able to select that to go into your profile. So that's also how they search for our members on our site.
And that is the reason that the title is required and is also so important, and also not where you want to put any personal information. You don't want to put email addresses. You don't want to put your first and last name. The employers that are on our site will be able to email you directly through your FlexJobs mailbox, or they will have information on how they're accepting applications if it's outside of our hiring system. So an extra level of protection. You don't want your title to be something that's goofy like mine was, or that includes any personal information. We've actually seen social security numbers listed in there. Honestly, it's happened. So we just like to really stress that is a public field for the employers. So we like to make sure that people are aware that that is something that people can see. So to move on here, let's see here. Okay, so if you've scored above 70% on a skills test, but you don't want an employer to see that, can you take it off of your resume profile?
Yes, you can take it off. However, the only way to take it off is to completely delete that test from your skills test results from the navigation bar, sub-navigation at the top. So at this time, you wouldn't be able to hide it. You would actually click the red box on the right, which would completely delete that test from your account as well as from your resume profile.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So we have a question about the date. So if a date on a job appears to be more than, I mean, there are some people who are not wanting to apply to something that's even over 2 days old. So if there's something that's been up for, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks, is it worth your time to apply? And our general rule of thumb is yes. If the employer has the listing still open and it's a good fit for you, it's definitely worth the time to write a cover letter and apply to it. People don't always understand that employers sometimes have more than one job open, but they're only putting up one listing. And so you can be self-selecting yourself out of a potential career or potential job opportunity by assuming that that date would indicate that they're not accepting applications. Another thing that's really important and can be really helpful too to note, so if you go into a job and let's say you click on the position and discover that it is no longer available, which unfortunately does happen as employers put things up and take things down all of the time. You can always go into, at the bottom, there's an option to flag a job, which means that you would send this to us to investigate. So if you have any questions about a position or if you're concerned that maybe there's something wrong with the link, you can utilize this area, and that sends an email to us to automatically do an investigation on that link, and we'll respond back to you with what we discover. So definitely don't let dates be that much of a deterrent. So you really want to make sure that you're not pushing yourself out of having, potentially a really great job. So if you've got 2 different areas of interest, how would you show that on your FlexJobs account? That's one of the questions.
Yes. For your resume profiles, you can create as many resume profiles as you wish. Some people only have one. Some people have skills in different areas and they're looking for complete jobs in complete different industries. So you can create as many profiles as you want, specific to each profession. If you want, say, a photography profile and then maybe a project manager profile. Feel free to do that. You can do, yeah, you could create two different ones, or 3 or 4, as many as you wish.
Perfect. And would an employer be able to see how many profiles you have and the different areas if you had multiple profiles?
Generally, no. The only way that would happen is if you happen to have numerous profiles, or let's just say 2. If you had 2 profiles with the same job categories. So maybe you had accounting and finance in both profiles, which generally doesn't happen. You're going to have different job categories and different profiles. So if an employer was searching on accounting and finance and you only had one profile with that job category, they will only see that one profile. They'll only see what you release to them. They're not going to your My Dashboard page and seeing other areas where you may have interest in. So it should just be the one that you have the job category that they've searched on. That's all they'll be able to view.
Perfect. All right, let's see here. We have a question on if there are overall metrics showing success percentages, and this is something we get asked a lot. Because we're not a recruiting service, we're not following the applications from start to finish. The interactions between an employer and employee are directly between them. So we don't have a one-to-one success rate because we're not following every single job and finding out whether the employer hires through us or if they hire externally. So unfortunately, that's just not a metric that we have, which is why we do offer that satisfaction guarantee on the site. But we do see that we get success stories every day, and we're very, very fortunate that we're excited to hear regularly from people who are able to find flexible work opportunities. So definitely happens every day, multiple times a day, but there's not any way for us to track that, versus how many people are applying to how many different jobs. So we do have a question. We've got 2 more minutes, so I'm going to answer 1 or 2 more and then give you guys information if we weren't able to get to your question on how you can continue the discussion with us. We're certainly happy to answer questions that we weren't able to get to within the Q&A time here. But we have a question, do employers really expect to see a cover letter? The truth of the matter is yes. That honestly can make the difference between someone being hired or not hired. And a tailored cover letter will make a huge difference in either an employer knowing that you really want to work for them versus you're just kind of machine gunning your information out to everyone and you're not really caring who it sticks with. So that can have a really lasting impact for an employer to know that you have done the research on the company, you understand what the job is requiring, and you know how you would fit in with that organization or how their mission would match with your type of career. So it can be something that really does turn the difference between an employer casually looking at your resume or knowing that you are really the right person for the job. Because in the job market today, you're going to be competing with a lot of people who may have similar job experience, which is not going to do a whole lot of good. So you really want to show personality, and that can be the thing that tips that scale over. So I would never advise not giving that kind of the importance that it can certainly have. So, and if you need help with cover letters because they can seem a little bit overwhelming, we do have the job search tips and blog. This is a great area for a lot of information. So for example, we've got 41 different cover letter tips. So if you're not really certain how to write a cover letter, take a look. And there's going to be great information from our in-house writers as well as career experts. And there's a lot of different information within here. So if you're concerned about job scams, we've got information on that. Different information on flex benefits, jobs and companies, different types of job seekers. That all comes through job news and then resources. So for instance, this recorded webinar will be within the FlexJobs resources in the future. So if there's ever been maybe a webinar in the past that sounds like it would be really interesting to you, you can actually come back in and take a look at that as well. So definitely recommend utilizing that area and taking advantage of the information there because it can help kind of push you over the edge as far as being the person that gets the interview as opposed to not hearing back. So, but it is now noon, so I just want to say thank you to everybody for taking the time and going through this information with us. Thank you again, Karen, for helping us with the resume profile and answering so many questions about how to use FlexJobs. And you can definitely always go to FlexJobs itself for more information. If you would like to get a hold of our client services department, you're welcome to utilize the Contact Us, which is in the footer of any page on the site itself. We're available via phone. We have live support Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, so you can reach out to us and chat with us, or you can also email us as well. So again, if there is a question that you asked and we didn't have the time to answer it, or if it was something more specific to your job search, please feel free to put in that information, and we're happy to help out and let you know the answer to that and give you a little bit more one-on-one information there. So again, we wish you guys all the luck, the best of luck in your job search, in your careers, and thank you again for utilizing FlexJobs.